welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Michala and I make videos about cozy hobbies, and today I want to try to make my own traveler's style notebook cover. I have been looking for a B6 size and I saw the Louise Carmen road book seems to be similar to a B6 size, but it's very expensive and I've just been looking all around and can't find a journal cover I'm comfortable spending so much money on, so I thought I would try to make my own. These are the tools I got. These are moleskin, kahir, or however you say this. If you know, you know. These pack of 3 journals. I really like these and I just got lined ones and I like the red color. These are not B6, but I want to get them cut down, which would just be cutting off a little bit on the top and a tiny bit on the side. I think I won't even bother cutting the side since this will be a wraparound cover I'm making. It should be able to fit my B6 journal and these if I cut down the top. So I have them here just in case I want to help use them to measure, but I will be using some of these once I cut them down, and then whatever strip is left over after I get them cut down, I'm going to use those little strips to like test pens and things. So that's what these are here for. And then my actual B6 journal is not here yet. I ordered one and it hasn't come in, so I am just going to do the measurements without the notebook for now, and at the end hopefully I will get a clip of the finished thing with my B6 notebook inside. I have this clear pocket folder which is B6 Slim I got mine from Jet Pens, but they have a lot of B6 Slim things on there, and so it'll be a little more narrow than my B6 journal, but I don't mind. I thought this was still a really nice little pocket to put in the front. So I have that. I also have Traveler's Notebook brand elastics because I saw other elastic cords, but they were a good bit thicker, and I really want my elastic cords to be nice and thin like I'm used to in my Traveler's notebooks. And then it also has the little clasp at the top and these cords. I'm not sure if I will use those. I think I will just try to keep it really simple and use the elastic cords in a style a little more similar to, I think, Louise Carmen. I've never owned one, but I've looked at the pictures online a lot, and that's kind of what I'll be going for. Then I have some charms I got from Etsy. I'll show you these up closer when I'm attaching them. And then I have my little metal grommets and hole punch for the leather. So here is my leather. I got it from a website online called Buckle Guys, I believe. I will link it below so that you can get some. And it feels really nice and durable. I got this really pretty like plum. It's not this bright in real life. I think the sun is just shining a lot. But it's this really deep plum color and obviously looks a little lighter inside. That's a little bit better color right there. But anyway, this is my leather, and I actually think I like the length of it because I want a wraparound journal. So I'm going to get out my cutting board and try to cut it down to the height I want, which I will just be going a little over B6 size to just leave a little bit of extra space at the top and bottom. So I think I will do 7.5 inches tall and keep the length as is, and then I'll try to cut the corners to make them rounded. I also have my box cutter. It's a foldable one, but this is what I'm going to use for my blade. And I'm just going to measure. I'm going to get this B6 Slim out just to measure the height. And I'll measure from over here so you guys can see. So I'm just going to leave a little space, like 1/2 inch at the top and bottom. So probably a little less, more of like 1/4 inch. Okay, and so I'm going to measure up here. I have my 0 lined up with the top, and then I'm going to get just a pencil and make a mark up here at 7.5, and then I like to mark as many times as possible because the more points of measurement you have, the more you have to line up with, the more likely your cut will be straight. So I'm just going to make a lot of marks all down it at the same 7.5 inches. I'm actually going to use a fabric pen. I'm going to use this fabric pen that comes off with water to mark because my pencil's not showing up very well. This comes off with water, so it's really nice to use, and then you can just get a slightly damp cloth and wipe it off. Okay, there we go. And now just line this up one more time. Okay, that looks good. And now I will cut, and I might leave a little extra space to start because you can always cut it smaller, but I can't make it bigger. I'm going to turn this. I'm actually going to turn this as well. Okay, so this will be my journal. This is the part I'm cutting off, and I'm going to line up all those marks with my ruler, but I'm going to let them be a little bit past my ruler. I'll use my mat just to square off everything. Okay, that looks good. Now let's cut. There we go. I just went over it about 3 times, pushing hard but not too crazy. And there we go. There's my leftover piece I'm sure I can find a use for. And now we can round the corners. I've also seen some people sand the cut edge, but I don't know if I will want or need to do that. So I have this washi tape roll that I will use to round off the corners, and I'll just find, I think this smaller one will work well. Okay, so I'm taking my same fabric pen and I'm just going to trace the curve on each corner. There we go. And now I will just try my best to cut around the curves. There's one corner, and I probably will sand the corners just to help it get that smooth edge. Corner number 2, corner number 3, corner number 4. And there we go. I think that looks really good. And now let's just sand the corners a little bit. There we go. I think that looks good, and I can always sand more later. I don't want to do too much in the beginning since this is my first journal I'm making. And I think that's looking really good. Now, because this is so affordable and I have all of the tools I need, I will only need to buy more leather if I want to make another one. So I'm not too worried about messing it up. This leather wasn't crazy expensive, but I think I'm going to use this to measure where I want the cover to fold over, because it will determine where I place my elastics. I'll want my elastics to be on the side, and I am not going to have them fold over perfectly. I want the front flap to fold over more and this one to fold over less, if that makes sense, because wherever I put the grommets to put my elastic cords, I could put a longer journal in here and it will still attach at the same cord, but it will stick over a little more. So this will be the part that would change. This will be the part that would fold over less if I put a wider journal in here, and will fold over more like that if I put a more narrow journal in here. Let's put this away. So I think this is a B6 Slim, so I think I will want it to come over pretty far. And so I think something like that. And another way to check if it's the right size is I will just check. My B5 journal will be right under 5 inches wide, and this is 5 inches wide, like that. So then I think right there will be a good place to make my crease, and I'm just going to crease it a little bit to teach the leather to fold where I want it, and then where I've made that kind of fold right there, I'm going to put my eyelets right on either side, and I'm only going to do 2. I've seen Louise Carmen's with 3, or I've seen journals with even 4 holes, but I just want to do 2 because I like to attach any extra inserts that I might want with rubber bands, and I have plenty of rubber bands because I accidentally ordered too many traveler notebook ones one time. So I'm just going to use this tool and a mallet, but first let's measure where we want them. Okay, just making sure on either side of my crease I'm putting the dots in the same location. And I have an extra one I'll just wipe off. Okay, so I have a mallet somewhere, but I cannot find it. So I'm just going to try to use this hammer, and I will pad this if I need to. I'm going to see how this goes. I'm going to put this thicker little mat down just in case it helps protect my desk. Okay, I made 4 holes at the top, 2 rows of 2, and the same at the bottom. And now I want to use, I have a couple different color grommets, and I think I'll use the gold ones. So here's this little piece. I'm going to put that side of the grommet on here like that, and then I'm going to try to push it through. Okay, so I went ahead and pushed it through. I think that'll be easier. And then I line it up on here, and I get the other side of it and place it over top like that, and then put my tool in the center and hit the 2 together. Okay, I did one of them, I did the other side, and I realized I did one of them backwards, so I just want to make sure I showed you. the larger side of the grommet should go through the finished side of your leather, and this part pokes through. Then put the other side of the grommet on this side. So I did one of these backwards, but that'll be okay. I can always cut it off and do it again, or I might just leave it, because part of why I'm making it myself is that I like that it's handmade by me, and I can always get better each one I make. So there we go. There's that one finished, and I will do my other ones. You can see my holes are really small. So, okay, I had to hammer pretty hard for some of them, and it was shaking my camera. So I did the other ones off camera, but here they are. And now this is a traveler's notebook repair kit, and I'm going to use the elastics from here. I think I will use the black. Okay, and so I'll have 2 elastic rows, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the bottom hole and then back up through the other hole, and same with the top. I'm going to go take the other end and go through the top hole and back through the hole beneath it. So I went through the outermost holes and back through the ones next to them, because I want this top part to be my tight elastic that I actually tuck things, my journals into, and I want this part to be the part I tie. So now that I have it through, I don't want to waste all of that by cutting it off, so I'm just going to adjust it until one side is shorter so I don't waste as much when I cut it. I'm going to make it pretty taut, and then I'm going to tie it off when I'm ready. Okay, I think I'll tie it off here and just try to tie it tight, but not so tight that it makes my journal like buckle a bit, you know. I'm going to go ahead and cut it right there, and now I have this extra, and I can use this to tie. And the elastic cord stays tied with a pretty simple knot, thankfully. Okay, and if you leave it like that, you can always come back in and tighten it, but once you get it exactly how you want it, you could always cut any excess down even more. Okay, there, I've adjusted it so that it's as tight as I want it to be. And now let's see if I have enough from the leftover to go through the other side, and I will go through the bottom one and then back through, and on this side I will do the same through the top one and back through the one below. And once again, we can tie it off. And this one I did a little bit tighter than the other one, so I'm going to loosen it a little bit, lie it down how I want, and then tighten my knot again. And there we go. Now this side is quite long, so I'm going to at least cut it to there for now. And once I put my journal in here, I'm sure I can cut off any excess. I just want to leave that in case I need to adjust it once my journal arrives. And now I'm doing kind of a combination of a Louise Carmen and a traveler's notebook. I've never owned a Louise Carmen, but I have traveler's notebooks, and the hole for the elastic that goes around, this is a knockoff traveler's notebook, and it's in the middle of the spine, the hole. And in my actual traveler's notebook, the hole is in the middle of the back. Because this will wrap around at different distances depending on how wide of a notebook I put in here, I'm going to put the hole in the middle on the back, I think. So originally I was going to put it over here, but I think this will be better. So I would definitely do this hole at the same time as your other holes, but I'm just going to do it now and just simply move these aside and mark half of my 7.5 journal with a dot and simply put a hole here. There we go, and there's my hole. And now I think I will go ahead and put a grommet in this one as well, just to give it a finished edge. Line it up with my backing and put the other side on, put on. I've got this tool, and I'm going to put that in the hole, and then with a mallet or a hammer, hammer it in. And there we go. Now with that hole, I'm going to put the cord that will wrap around the whole thing. I have this elastic that came with my traveler's notebook, and if it is the right length, I kind of want to use it because I think the color will look nice. So I'm just going to feed both ends through the hole like this. Let's see if this will even wrap around it. So I'm just going to tie a knot in it with both ends like I do on my traveler's notebook, like that. And then let's see if we close it, if this would wrap all the way around. Okay, yeah, that looks like it will fit, and I mean it's elastic so it can stretch. So for now, I think I will leave this nice green elastic on there. And now that I know it fits, I want to put some charms on it. So let's unstring it real quick because it's very easy to do. And then I got a bunch of different charms from Etsy. I won't necessarily use them all, but I'll link where I got them below. I have this really nice seashell. I have a ginkgo leaf I'm thinking of putting on the front right now. And then these little ones are really pretty, and I think I will put on the grommets on the outside with little eyelet rings. And this one even opens as a little locket. So that one's really cute too. So I think I'll swap out sometimes my front charm. For now, I don't know if I want to do one or two. Those two would look really cute hanging on these on the outside. And then should I do just the leaf on the front or the book too? Let's just do the leaf for now. And we will just string it on one way and then making sure it's still facing the front. Put the cords through the hole again. 1, 2. There we go. And now tie my knot. And now I can wrap it around and see the beautiful ginkgo leaf charm. That's super cute. Okay, I really like that. And I really wish my journal was here to put inside. We could try this pocket pouch I have. I can put in here, but of course that will go better once we can put a journal with it. But I think this is looking really cute like that. And now I'll get some little rings to connect my charms with. I'm losing daylight a little bit, but I have my little eyelets that I will need to attach my charms, as well as some pliers. And I think this size will work for what I want. So first I will just open it. And I already had these from different jewelry making things I've done, so hopefully some of you will already have things like this too. And I'm gonna go through the loop. You can see that's my little backwards one that I put on backwards, but I honestly don't think it's too noticeable. And because this is my first journal cover I've made, I kind of think it's a nice reminder of the fact that it's my first one, and I'm sure I'll just get better. So I put my charm over it, and now we can close the circle. I like to just bring it closed, and then you can kind of take the edges. You can take the edges and close it like that, and then you can also just squeeze it flat to straighten it up, and you can kind of clamp them like that to get it kind of like perfect back closed how it was. And there's that charm. And now let's put this one on. And there's the other charm. I think those are really pretty. I'm really pleased with these charms that I got from Etsy, so I will definitely leave them below. You can see the bird and the tulips, and they're very detailed, and I love them. Okay, I think this is looking really good. I'm so pleased with it. Now I will get some clips in better lighting and with my notebooks inserted. Okay, so it is a good while later, and my notebook finally came in the mail, and I've had some time to get the cover to kind of sit on my notebooks and settle into like the folded shape. So I wanted to show you, and I have this highlighter on here right now. Just holding the two flaps together, it just kind of helped, again, the leather take its shape. And I don't really need to put that there anymore. I just haven't finalized my setup. I'll show you. So it is the last day of 2025, December 31st when I'm filming this. So I have not used my inserts yet, but I wanted to show you what I have. Here's the zipper folder. I put 2 photos, Polaroids, in here. And this top one is a little bit skinnier, so I haven't put anything in there yet, but I might just put some stickers. And then in the zipper pouch, I have some things for annotating books, so clear sticky notes and some tabs, because I'm going to have this journal with me when I annotate books, and that's why the highlighter was on here. So I can do a whole video about this journal setup and how I use it once I start really using it. I just wanted to show you guys the cover is working well. I tightened, I think, all of the elastics once I put my books in and saw how they were sitting. I tightened the elastics in the back and the one that closes the whole journal. I will still cut off the extra ends, but I wanted to use the journal more before I cut those off, just to make sure I don't want to adjust anything. I have this little pocket moleskin in here where I'm going to take notes. So that's on the front elastic. Then the back elastic, I put it in the center of my forest planner that came in the mail, and it lies really nice and flat, which is what I wanted, and it fits in the cover perfectly, and I'm super excited to use this. So hopefully you can see that the cover has just a little bit of space on the top and bottom and fits in here really well. And then behind this, I just have, this is the back of the clear zipper pouch. There's no like purpose for it, but I'm thinking of getting a sticky pocket to put on the back of my journal, maybe against this thing, but I might one day remove this zipper pouch. So I think I would just put it straight on the leather, one of those traveler notebooks, sticky pockets I'll stick on here, and then I can keep stuff in there. So that's what I'm planning on doing later. And I actually am going to take all of this out, which won't be too bad, I'll show you, because I want to burnish the edges with these tools over here, the edges of my journal. To make the journal cover less like fleshy, I'm going to burnish the edges, and I thought I would show you. That's something I decided after the fact. So we're just going to open up, I have Tokonole burnishing gum. You can just get this on Amazon. I have that, and then I have just a hand burnishing tool, and we are going to put a little bit of this. Ooh, be careful when you open it, it's a little bit more liquidy. And we're going to put a little bit of this just with my finger on the edges in little kind of like dots and on the corners, and then we essentially rub it in with this and create heat and friction to seal the edges and make them less like hairy and fibery. It just lays the fibers down. So I'm going to try this smallest divot right here. And if you are watching this video and you have the chance to do this before you add your charms and things, you definitely could. It's not a big deal, but you could do this before adding your charms and everything. So I'm just going to put a little bit more on the corners and do this around all the edges. And I might do it on the fleshy side of the leather later, but I kind of want to spend more time with it and see if it even, like, I don't know, bothers me before I do that. It would help the fibers lay down, but I don't have one of those glass smoother tools. So if you know what I'm talking about, then hopefully you know what I mean. So I wouldn't be able to smooth it down very well. And there we go. I think that makes the edges a lot better, and I might do, like I said, the flesh side, burnish the whole thing down later if I get the right tools or just feel like I want to try that. That's kind of the nice thing about making it myself for an affordable price. I can kind of work on it and make any edits to it, and it did not cost me that much and was pretty simple to make. So I can always make another one, but of course I like this one so far, so I will try to take care of it. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. I'm putting everything back in here. This will just go under the first one and then also under the second one. There we go. And then my little pocket moleskin for note taking goes right there. And there we go. There is my very first journal cover that I created myself, and I think it turned out really nicely. I'm really pleased with it, and it saved me from buying like a $250 one. And yeah, I'll show you some up close. And I have taken this with me a couple of places. Even though I haven't been using it, I was seeing how it held up in my bag, and it looks really good so far. There we go. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I am not a leather expert, but I was hoping to show that if I can do this, you can too. And it's really nice because you can make it for a custom size. So if you're like me and you're trying out a new journal size this coming year, you can create your own leather cover, and it is not as difficult as you might think. So definitely comment and let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.